On January 18, 2024, drones attack an oil depot in the Leningrad region. 3 days later, on January 21st, drones strike again in the Leningrad region. This time, the drones target the oil terminal facilities of Ust-Luga, owned by Novatek. Both targets were hit, and both by drones of Ukrainian manufacture. It seems no longer surprising. However, these are the first drones in the Leningrad region. Ukrainian combat drones have not covered such a distance before. The fact that the explosions near St. Petersburg were caused by Ukrainian drones was confirmed by Ukraine's Minister for Strategic Industries, Alexander Kamyshin.
This is made in Ukraine. Yes, last night we hit the target, and this thing flew exactly 1,250 kilometers. Last night.
The news about such long-range weaponry is indeed already gratifying.
The distance to the target in a straight line is between 700 and 900 kilometers. In order to bypass the nodes of the Russian air defense and various threatening directions, well, Mustakat, the Atma's shortest such trajectory should be about 1,200 kilometers. This indicates that we have such long-range capabilities and that they can effectively bypass Russian air defense systems and strike planned enemy targets.
Ukrainian combat drones have seriously frightened the deep rear of the Russians. The Kremlin regime is already having to spend millions on protection against drones. Yeah, however, even that won't help much.
There it is, the S-300. I served on one of those. They are setting them up all over around St. Petersburg. So guys, let's get ready.
What kind of drones are capable of this, and how many of them are there in Ukraine? All about this and more in just a moment.
But does Ukraine need drones that can hit targets 1,000 kilometers away? Of course, yes. But yes, because we have Crimea, which needs to be liberated. We have certain illegal structures built in Crimea, which again have no chance of existing. So it's just a matter of time before such equipment is likely to be used.
For several months now, Ukrainian production has been ramping up its capabilities. Our defenders now have access to dozens, if not hundreds, of different drones. Underwater, surface, ground, kamikaze drones, reconnaissance, long range, and others. All of them allow for more effective destruction of the enemy on the battlefield, and importantly, the opponent and their military targets deep in the rear. Which specific drones attack the Leningrad region is unknown. Ukrainian developers are racing against themselves. As a result, domestic drones are increasing in number almost every day.
According to Ukroboronprom employees, their development will become multifunctional. The drone can be used both as a kamikaze and as a reconnaissance strike unit. And in the case of using the drone as a scout with a payload capacity of 50 kilograms, the main threat to it will be the enemy's electronic warfare systems. But Ukrainian engineers know how to counter even the most advanced Russian radar warfare systems.
The drone must be equipped with certain data transmission systems, which, in the modern world, have a satellite nature. In fact, the most stable communication channels in this case are satellite technologies. But even without this, relay systems can provide adequate radio coverage, allowing the drone to operate far away and under the influence of enemy electronic warfare.
But it's not only the state that has taken up the development of combat drones. Private companies have also made an undeniable contribution to the destruction of enemy stockpiles. For example, the Ukrainian company Terminal Autonomy. The engineers of this enterprise have developed and even set up production of kamikaze drones AQ-400 Skid or KOSA drones. The company is capable of producing 500 such loitering munitions monthly. Roughly speaking, it's like an Iranian Shahed. Their purpose and capabilities are similar. The developers claim a flight range of 750 kilometers for the KOSA. Its takeoff weight is 100 kilograms, of which 32 are payload. The payload can be increased to 70 kilograms, but then the flight range would have to be sacrificed. The speed of the Kosa is 144 kilometers per hour, with a range of 6.5 hours. The price of such a drone is about $15,000.
When we talk about a drone, the price may seem high to some extent and low to another, but every drone, especially at the moment, it is lost, saves someone's life. And the special feature of the drone is that it is robotics. Robotics is designed to reduce the human factor and to preserve human life. And when drones are lost on the battlefield, it's a good thing because it means we are not losing people.
The Scythe is not demanding about the launch site. It can be sent to fly and mow down the occupiers' military targets either from a catapult or from a runway. However, some developers are looking for even simpler ways to launch, all to ensure that the combat bird increases its range and enhances its lethality. An innovation in the launch system was implemented, for example, by Ukrainian chemist Sergei Pipko. His drone begins its start with a rocket launch.
There's no need to assemble and disassemble a catapult. The launch can be carried out with a very short guide or even without a guide from a spot, for example, from the bed of a pickup or truck. Stopping for just a minute. It is possible to launch several drones per minute in a volley.
The drone specifications are unknown, as is its name. At the same time, it is possible that it is already operating deep behind enemy lines, which is far more important than any words. It would seem that Ukraine already has quite a few drones that instill fear in the invaders. However, in fairness, it should be said that any drone can eventually be shot down. The main thing is to figure out its weaknesses. And when there are dozens of long-range drones, figuring out which one is attacking today and consequently shooting it down becomes much more difficult. Therefore, new drones are extremely important for Ukraine, especially if these UAVs are designed based on new technologies, like in the next bird. This drone has not been officially presented yet, but it can already be said that it will be a new nightmare for Russian infrastructure. The highlight of this domestic weaponry is that this drone is jet-powered. The specifications are still unknown at this point. However, what can be said for sure is that these drones will be very powerful, and they have already successfully passed tests. And this in turn means that quite soon we will be able to see them in action, or to be more precise, not them, but the consequences they leave behind. But we will show and tell you about this, as well as about new weapons that help drive out Russian occupiers from Ukrainian territory. So, give this video a like, write about which weapons you would like to hear about in new episodes. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new episodes of Arsenal.